like, comment, and subscribe for more content.
What's up, guys? It's Dylan aka DK Wrestler here, and in today's video it's a brand new edition of Cop Up or Pass Up. But before that happens, make sure you press that subscribe button for more content like this video in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. But anyways, let's check it out. So like I said, today's video is a brand new edition of Cop Up or Pass Up, which those brand new to the channel, Cop Up or Pass Up is a series where I look at a certain set of Funko Pops and determine whether each pop from that set, via my own personal reaction, overall hype from the Funko fanatics, and detail on whether they're worth copping up the money for or passing up the opportunity to get. And today's episode will be on the recently announced San Diego Comic-Con 2020 exclusives. Now I know there is mixed reactions with this, including there's not many as there was last year. There's some cool pops, but there is some garbage and not really needed pops. Right now, I'm going to talk about all 3 days that were announced for San Diego Comic-Con, starting off with day 1, which kicked off with the Ad Icons lineup, and it's the toucans that are the San Diego Comic-Con toucans, their mascot, in which there's 3 versions. There's going to be a superhero toucan that will be shared with the Funko shop in the US, and we got ourselves the astronaut outfit, which is also going to be shared at the Funko shop. And then we have the 1,000 piece metallic red astronaut toucan that'll be exclusive to the Comic-Con Museum, which the only way you can get that for the Comic-Con Museum is if you upgrade to a Tier 4 or Tier 5 membership, which Tier 4 costs $500 US, and Tier 5 cost $1,200 US. These are alright. I mean, if you're a super huge collector of the Ad Icons, I mean, I would say get at least 2 of them, I would say. I don't want to say, go and get a $500 membership to get the red one, but I mean, if you really want it, I mean, go for it. But I think the idea to make this really, really hard, it kind of sucks, honestly. Overall, I'm not really a fan of these toucan mascots, and I'm not really even, gonna plan on getting any of these. So for that, I'm gonna say passing up the opportunity to get these pops. Continuing on with the Ad Icons lineup, we have Jackbox in disguise for Jack in the Box, part of the Ad Icons lineup. It's a new pop, and I think this is pretty cool, honestly, just because of the fact we got a new licensor, which it's always cool to see some new licensors added to the Funko lineups. The detail is pretty cool, honestly, and I think a lot of people are hyped, but a lot of people aren't hyped because I guess some people in the States don't know what Jack in the Box is, and here in Canada, we don't have Jack in the Box. I'm gonna say, just because it's a new Ad Icon and people love the Ad Icons lineup, cop up. And then we move on to the Pop Rocks lineup, which we have Steve Aoki, and I think he's holding a cake if I'm not mistaken. And this pop is going to be shared with Toy Tokyo in the US, and it's not going to be shared in Canada. And that's the same with the Jack in the Box, I forgot to mention. That'll be shared with the Funko shop, and it's not going to be shared anywhere in Canada. This pop's alright. I mean, I don't know who Steve Aoki is, honestly. I know he's a famous DJ from what I've heard. Nonetheless, I mean, you have to get this in a 4-pop bundle, I'm pretty sure, because that's usually how Toy Tokyo works. They have 4 pops. You have to buy them all in order to get the one that you really want. So just for that, I'm going to say pass up. Oh, well, that's a cop up. Pass up the opportunity to get that. Now we move on to the Pop Games lineup, which we have Ripley from Fortnite. This is going to be shared to Walmart in the US, and it's going to be shared to Toys R Us here in Canada. A lot of people don't like Fortnite, but there's obviously fans that do like Fortnite, so it's always a mixed reaction when it comes to hype. The detail is alright. I think the top part is my favorite, but the body is just meh. And then my own personal reaction, I don't play Fortnite at all. Just for all of those 3 categories, including the mixed hype, passing up the opportunity to get this pop. Continuing on with the Pop Games lineup, we have the Flocked Pokemon. So specifically, we have Flocked Mewtwo, which will be shared to the Funko shop in the US and Toys R Us here in Canada. And Vulpix will be shared with GameStop in the US and EB Games here in Canada. Of course, this is kind of that half and half reaction because Vulpix makes sense to be flocked, but Mewtwo kind of doesn't make sense. But, of course, they probably did choose Mewtwo to be flocked because Mewtwo is a popular character in Pokemon, so they're just gonna make a bunch of variants for Mewtwo, and let's face it, a lot of people are going to buy both of these pops to continue their Pokemon lineup. Detail is pretty cool. Personal reaction, I love Mewtwo. I have the common, but I don't plan on getting this flocked one, and I'm not really the biggest fan of Vulpix, so I'm not going to get either the common or this version for San Diego Comic-Con. But let's face it, I might as well say cop up for both of these pops. Moving on to more of the anime-specific of animation lineup, which we have Super Saiyan God Goku for the Dragon Ball Super lineup, and this is going to be shared with Hot Topic in both Canada and the US. As I'm looking at this on my computer right now, it has quite a bit of detail, honestly, especially the Fire platform. I'm pretty sure from what I've heard, there has been one that was made previously, but it doesn't have the platform, and it was very expensive. Now it's kind of a revamp of the original one, but a little bit more detail, including the base. I kind of like this, honestly, and it's one of the better Goku pops, even though we have a ton of Goku pops that have already been made for Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball Super, I should say, for this case. Personal reaction, I'm not going to get this because I don't collect the Dragon Ball lineup. I'm going to say cop up. Continuing on with animation, we have Bakugo from My Hero Academia, and this also will be shared to Hot Topic in both Canada and the United States. This has so much crazy good detail, and that's one thing I like about the My Hero Academia pops, especially they had Hero Killer Stain from New York Comic Con last year, and now they have this Bakugo, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the second Bakugo that has been made. This one is masked, the original one isn't. There is a bunch of hype because people wanted this pop. Just because of that factor, even though I don't really have much of a personal reaction to it, cop up. And to end off day one, it is for the Pop Games lineup, and we have a Sonic the Hedgehog 2-pack of Super Tails and Super Silver. Now, this is going to be shared to GameStop in the United States and EB Games here in Canada, and I think this 2-pack looks wicked. This is the first time we're actually seeing Tails since actually one of the first ever Pop Games Funko Pops, because it was the Sonic the Hedgehog lineup with Tails, Sonic, and Knuckles, and the Tails looks pretty cool, or not the Tails, I mean the Silver looks really cool also, and personal reaction through the roof because of the detail that's involved with this, and the hype is real for this. So for that, I'm going to say for sure cop up for this. Alright, so now we're moving on to day two, which will kick off with the Hello Kitty crossover with Kaiju, and it's a robot. This one is alright. I am not the biggest fan of Hello Kitty. This is one of those pops I feel like should have been that limited amount of piece, because then the hardcore fans of Hello Kitty would actually get this, rather than the customers that would probably find this at a shared retailer, which actually I should have mentioned, that this will be shared with GameStop in the United States and, not Toys R Us, EB Games here in Canada. So judging by what I just said, passing up the opportunity to get this pop. And now we're going to move on to what probably is the most hyped single pop of this convention, and it is for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lineup. That is Michelangelo with the surfboard. Now, this is going to be shared with the Funko shop in the US, and it's not going to be shared to anywhere in Canada, unfortunately. This is wicked. The absolute detail on this is awesome, especially the pants, or shorts I should say, that have the pizza on it. That's awesome. It says Cowabunga on the surfboard. A lot of people don't like the fact that it's got the San Diego Comic-Con logo on the surfboard, but I don't know, I kind of like it, honestly. And it's Michelangelo. I'd be stupid to say pass up, so copping up the money for this. So now going to the animation lineup, we have Scaramouche from Samurai Jack. Every time I think of Scaramouche, I think of Bohemian Rhapsody, because there's that line, Scaramouche, Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? But besides that, a lot of people do like Samurai Jack. A lot of people really want this because of the fact that they got the 2-pack that was for New York Comic Con. Now they got this one. I should mention also that this is going to be shared with Toy Tokyo, and it will be one of the 4 pops that will be in that bundle. It's got quite a bit of detail from what I'm looking at right now. It's not my cup of tea though, and there was also mixed reaction when it came to the hype, so just for that, I'm going to say passing up the opportunity to get this pop. And now, the next 2 pops for the television lineup, and it's also the last 2 pops involved in that Toy Tokyo bundle, or what will be a Toy Tokyo bundle. That is the Masters of the Universe pops. We have ourselves Blast Attack and Clawful, and of course there is some soda cans, but we usually don't talk about anything besides pops on this channel most of the time. So we're just talking about the pops here. The pops look really detailed. A lot of people are fans of Masters of the Universe. Do I think it's a cop-up or a pass-up? I'm going to say pass-up because I don't think these are the best-looking Masters of the Universe pops that Funko has made. Moving on to the television lineup still, we have Zim with mini moves from Invader Zim. Now, I'm pretty sure if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be shared with Entertainment Earth. I've never watched Invader Zim in my life. I know a lot of people like it. It's not really my cup of tea, and I think there's been better Invader Zim pops. So just for that, I'm going to say passing up the opportunity to get this pop. We're moving on to the Disney lineup. We have the Alien Remix pops, which we have just the Alien as Kevin, and this is going to be shared to Box Lunch in the US, and it's not going to be shared in Canada, unfortunately. Personally, because as you may tell from this side, I am a huge Toy Story fan, so after seeing kind of like the other pops that have been out now, I'm kind of thinking I'm actually going to get the whole set, besides just getting the ones that are Alien dressed up as Toy Story characters. This looks pretty cool, and I love the expression on I almost said well, technically it is Kevin. I love it on Alien's face to kind of go along with Kevin because, you know, Kevin doesn't really have much of facial reaction as it is. Of course, the hype is huge on this because people are loving these pops. The detail is pretty cool on this. I think you guys know where I'm going to go with this. Copping up the opportunity to get this pop. Or copping up the money for the pop. But you know what I was trying to say. Then moving on, we have a lineup that we haven't seen in so long. It is the Emperor's Groove lineup, and we have Yzma as Cat. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. This is going to be shared also with Box Lunch in the United States, and it's not going to be shared in Canada, unfortunately. The detail on this is really nice, and it's cool that, you know, Funko is doing some new characters for certain lineups, or they're doing, like, variants that, like, nobody really thought was going to be made in Funko Pop form, like Yzma as Cat. The hype is real. The detail is pretty nice. It's not really my cup of tea, but I am going to say cop up the money to get this pop. Back to the television lineup, we have Recyclops Dwight. Now, this is what people say is the second version, but I think it's actually the third version, and people think there's 3 versions, but there's actually 5, and I think the one, I'm going to say it, New York Comic Con is going to be the one with that, like, huge black outfit that wants to kill the Earth. But this one is alright. It's not really the greatest. If you're a huge Office fan like I am, you're obviously going to be cop up for this, but for the overall reaction and everything, I hate to do this, but pass up the opportunity to get this pop. Now we are on to the Pop Heroes lineup, or the DC Comics lineup, which we have 3 different pops listed here. We have Black Lightning, which will be limited to 3,000 pieces, which means that because the Comic-Con is canceled, you have to get this on the Funko shop. Then we got ourselves Ra's al Ghul. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That, I'm pretty sure, is going to be shared with Entertainment Earth in the United States, and it's going to be shared to Toys R Us here in Canada. And then we got Cyborg Superman, which is going to be shared to Target in the United States, and will also be shared to Toys R Us here in Canada. And because I keep forgetting to talk about where everything's being shared to, Dwight is going to be shared to Walmart in the United States, and Grosvenor here in Canada. So back to the DC pops. All these pops are pretty good, actually, honestly. I think my favorite is the Cyborg Superman, and then I think this one will definitely sell out at Target, and probably will sell out at Toys R Us by my guesstimation. Yes, I just used the word guesstimation. So now I gotta say cop up or pass up for each of these. Black Lightning, I guess cop up because it's a 3,000 piece item. Ra's al Ghul, more of my personal reaction, but pass up the opportunity to get this. I don't know, I don't really know Ra's al Ghul, so I'm passing up. I know people are gonna hate on me in the comments, which do so. Cyborg Superman, cop up. I think the design looks absolutely awesome, and it's definitely one of the best Superman pops that has been made yet by Funko. Continuing on with the DC lineup, we have a glittered Mr. Freeze, which this will be shared to GameStop in the United States and Toys R Us here in Canada, which I kind of find odd because EB Games and GameStop, they're practically the same store. Why kind of like separate that? But it is what it is. I like the way that this looks on the glam shot that we're looking at right now. It looks really cool, especially with the blue color that they chose to use. But if you actually seen kind of the leaks of what it looks like, the blue is a little darker. I'm not really a fan of that. There is mixed hype because people do like this pop, but it's also from Batman and Robin, which is one of the worst Batman movies of all time and was rated 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Personally, I do love Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know a lot of people are going to hate on me once again. Based on everything that I just said, and I do believe that this is probably going to be a shelf sitter, passing up the opportunity to get this pop. And the last pop for day 2 is the Sith Jet Trooper flying from The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know what to say about this, honestly, because I would rather get this kind of than the normal one, but I just think it's kind of boring for a Star Wars pop, especially for SDCC. Like, this would have been better as a common? Like, why didn't we get something like Mandalorian or even the Clone Wars, because the series just ended? So just for that, passing up the opportunity to get this pop. Day 3, which kicks off with the Marvel lineup, which first pop we're going to talk about is Stan Lee in his Hugh Hefner outfit cameo for the first Iron Man movie. Now, this is going to be shared to Target in the United States and Toys R Us here in Canada. This is a wicked looking Stan Lee, honestly. I do like most of the Stan Lees, but this is probably one of my favorite Stan Lee cameo pops that they have done yet. And I think a lot of people do agree with me on that. I'm personally probably not going to get it, but I am going to say cop up for this pop because this pop looks wicked. And now we're going to look at 2 pops here, which you'll see on your screen now. We have a 10-inch The Thing that is part of the Marvel Zombies lineup, and we have Dark Captain Marvel, in which the 10-inch Thing is going to be shared with GameStop in the United States and EB Games in Canada, and Dark Captain Marvel is going to be shared with Amazon in the US, along with, I should have mentioned, that Sith Jet Trooper is also going to Amazon. The 10-inch Thing it's okay. I mean, I do have more that I like to talk about this, but I'm going to save that for this Friday's episode of a Funko Popcast, which is our weekly podcast if you don't know. The Dark Captain Marvel looks pretty cool, honestly, with like the way the head is, and especially the design, but I don't think a lot of people know what Dark Captain Marvel is. Passing up the opportunity to get both of these. So now we're looking at the X-Men 20th anniversary lineup that has been announced for SDCC, and we have here Nightcrawler teleporting, which will be shared to Hot Topic in both US and Canada, and we have ourselves Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool Weapon 11, I think it's called. This is going to be shared with Walgreens in the United States and Toys R Us here in Canada. This Nightcrawler looks wicked from what I'm looking at. Not a lot of people like it because we were expecting a comic book version of Nightcrawler for SDCC. And then this Weapon 11 Wade Wilson is... I don't know what to say about it. There's not really much detail, honestly. I'm not going to get this, and there is mixed reaction, so I'm going to say passing up the opportunity to get both of these. Moving on to the Harry Potter lineup, we got ourselves Harry Potter at the Quidditch World Cup, which this is going to be shared to the Funko Shop. Can you believe that? It's not going to Barnes & Noble. It's going to the Funko Shop in the United States, and it will be shared to Indigo here in Canada. This is one of those things that I'm not going to talk about right now because this is not one of the greatest. Pass up. Going back to the Pop Movies lineup, we have Iron Bob for the Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie, which this is going to be shared with FYE in the US, and it's going to be shared to Grosvenor here in Canada. I don't know what to say about this pop, honestly. Like, it looks detailed, but, like, it's not screaming out, like, buy me. This is one of those pops where, like, super fans of Jay and Silent Bob will get this. Just by what I just said, passing up the opportunity to get this pop. Moving on to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, we have Wallace Wells, and he's got his cell phone. Now, there is a lot of people that are hyped for this because it's a new character for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and it's not just a repeat of like Scott Pilgrim or Ramona Flowers. This will be shared to the Funko Shop in the US, and it's not going to be shared anywhere in Canada. This one's alright. It's a basic human pop. There is going to be a lot of people that are going to get this, and there's a lot of people that aren't going to get this, because there's people who like Scott Pilgrim, and there's a lot of people that don't like Scott Pilgrim. So because of mixed reaction and how it's not super detailed, passing up the opportunity to get this pop. One I'm really excited about for the Back to the Future 35th anniversary lineup, Pop Movies, it is Marty McFly checking his watch, which this is going to be shared to Walmart in the United States and Toys R Us here in Canada. Personally, I like this pop, and especially not a lot of people think, oh wow, this doesn't look like it's looking at his watch, but the way that the glam shows, his head is partially tilted, which kind of makes it look like he is looking at his watch, so smart move on the glam part. I didn't really see any like bad hype for this pop, honestly. People love Back to the Future, and even though it is another Marty, there wasn't really any bad hype, and I'm personally like it, so I'm going to say, cop up the money to get this pop. Moving kind of back to the Pop Games lineup, we have Vex on Broom from Critical Role, which I don't know what Critical Role is. And the retailers for this is super weird because in the US, it's being shared to Best Buy, and then in Canada, it's being shared to Grosvenor, which if you don't know what Grosvenor is, it's actually a distribution company. So they're going to distribute pops to like different like smaller retailers, example, K-Dog and Fish. This one looks alright. It kind of looks like an Overwatch pop, but it's not Overwatch. And once again, I don't have much to say, and I don't think a lot of people know what Critical Role is, so passing up the opportunity to get this pop. Last but not least, what a great way to end this. Anchorman, the Legend of Ron Burgundy pops. So Brian Fantana with it's a scented pop, and it's him with the Sex Panther cologne, which is absolutely freaking nuts. We have 3 versions of Ron Burgundy. One with his outfit, kind of a 2-for-1 deal with him and Baxter, and then we got him with his flute, or yes, flute. And then we have Brick Tamlin, who's played by Steve Carell. There's a Steve Carell pop right there, actually. I don't even know if I have to explain how, like, this is definitely a cop-up. It's a cop-up. This movie's amazing. It's a new license. I don't have to explain that this is why it's a cop-up. Great job on Funko's part, and this will be shared to the Funko shop, so us Canadians, we're screwed. Anyways, that's going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button to let us know that you're enjoying the content being provided to you guys on this channel. Comment in the comment section below on what your favorite pops were from San Diego Comic-Con, and let me know which ones you're going to cop up for or pass up. And like I said earlier, press that subscribe button for more content like this video in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and see you guys next time. Peace out!